Good morning. Whew, I'm a little slow to start because I just woke up. But good morning, everybody. Okay, I'm going to start with cleaning the water. That is always my morning routine. This is how I do it because this is the best way to do it. One thing you'll realize is that everything I try to do is the best way. If you don't do it the right way, sometimes, or oftentimes, it's just not very helpful if you're really trying to get in good health. So we're going to fill that up first. So I'm actually cleaning the water, and I had it running last night. That's my carbon distiller. And because I had it running last night, that means I have water this morning. And this is how it's done. A lot of people are always wanting to know, well, how exactly do you do it? Well, this is what I do. It's pretty simple. Every morning, just wake up, harvesting my clean water. And I mean really clean water. I mean, obviously, I'm talking ultra clean water, guys. We're talking water with no bacteria, no parasites, no pharmaceuticals, no E. coli, blah, blah, blah. Everything. And you know, I'm just really into clean water. I don't want to be putting something particularly gross into my mouth or body. Now, there's a little tiny line in here if you want to see it. If you can see a little metal thing, and when the water hits the bottom of it, I'll show you. This is where you stop. Let's see if you can see it. There it is, touched. So that's enough. That's where it should be. Now, this is the kind of carbon distiller that I have. There's different kinds. Obviously, I get mine from mypurewater.com. They have a few different kinds too. I get mine from there because they're made in America, higher quality, and they do a little bit better job distilling. The way that this moisture is routed does make a difference. That's why I like this company. They're really picky. I like companies that are picky and really into making the best. So in this case, these guys are the best. And they're affordable too. That's the nice part too. They're not crazy expensive. Because when you don't make stuff in China, sometimes they can be a little more. But these are really nice. I had actually numerous of their units. And they're really great. Okay. Now, how do I start up the unit right now? Because this is what I'm going to do now. So what I do is I want to stabilize the carbon distilled water a little bit. So what I do is I take mineral drops, but I just put one drop. That's it. Almost like Ayurvedic. And because you don't really get the majority of your minerals from your water anyway. I just put it down in there and turn it on. That's simple, guys. That's it. Now I can go on to making my breakfast. Now the breakfast I make is I do it for numerous reasons. I definitely followed a lot of the scientific data. And of course the results that I've seen are not only for myself but for others is quite dramatic. I'm a little surprised actually how well these protocols work. And so that's what we're going to do this morning. Just going ahead and make my morning breakfast like I always make it. And then if you guys have questions, you can ask questions if you want while I do it. But let's go ahead and get started. The first thing is we know our food is deficient. If our food is deficient, what do we do to compensate? Well, I'll show you what I do. This is one of the purest products I found. It's funny because the name is kind of purity, you know. But what I like about it is if you ever look at the nutritional content in it, it basically looks a lot like a multivitamin when you look at the nutrients, just a ton of stuff. I mean, I could start reading off, you know, the amount of copper, zinc, magnesium, B6, B12, vitamin A. I mean, just everything in it. But the important part is that it's all coming from food. And that's the difference. Everything is coming from food in this thing. And even when you smell it, it just smells like food. And because I know that the food is deficient, and I don't like taking multivitamins because I don't really like synthetic pills or pills at all. You'll notice that everything I do is a powder, basically, or some type of liquid. Not into the pills because you got to look at the ingredients of that stuff, even though a lot of people like pills. And so, remember, I'm not giving you guys any medical advice or make any medical claims. You guys do your own thing. But this is just food. The research shows the body assimilates food the best. So that's what I use. So I'm going to put that in first because all the other ingredients I'm going to put in the smoothie, I know they're deficient. And this actually helps with the deficiencies. This is why I have the blood work to make sure that I'm overcoming my nutritional deficiencies. In fact, somebody was asking about that today. I'll answer that question in a second. They're asking about blood work. Then I'm putting raw cacao. Now, my smoothie can be a little different every day, but raw cacao is extremely good for you. One thing that you'll notice about everything that I put in my morning breakfast, and I didn't show this part, but I always drink my hydrogen water first thing in the morning. So I drink a liter of really cleanly made hydrogen water, by the way. I don't use any hydrogen machine that uses chemicals like lye, sodium hydroxide, because it's really a silly move. I mean, I would never make hydrogen using something like that. I don't know why anybody would, but I've seen it. And then also, I don't use any metals like stainless steel. I'm not probably one of the worst metals to use, or plated metals. Got to make it really clean. So I consume the hydrogen first. And then as I make the smoothie, because it takes about 20-30 minutes for the hydrogen to go through my system, so I wait. Raw cacao, I don't always use it, but I do like it. Activate those stem cells, numerous good minerals. Just, again, what you're going to notice on these ingredients, and maybe I don't know if you need me to point it out, but if you need me to point it out, just notice. I look at the ingredients, it says organic cacao. That's it. There's no added sugar, no added colors, like nothing. It's just raw cacao. And the pure in powder is just a bunch of different foods. So with that being said, I'm going to move on to the next things I'm going to put in here today. Looks like I need a few more ingredients today too. Looks like I need to go grocery shopping, really? Oh no. Wow. Okay, I just realized that I'm out of some stuff today. Now see, this is where we have to improvise. Actually, you know what? Maybe I have some more ingredients downstairs. You guys are going to unfortunately have to be a little patient because I might have to run downstairs to get more. But you know what I can do while I run down there? The next thing I always do after powders is I always do the greens first. Why greens? Well, full of chlorophyll. All these things are full of good fiber. By the way, the research on fiber, just watch. In the near future, they're going to be talking more and more about it because America's behind. And the clear data on how important fiber is, but you can't take, as a lot of people like to do, is just supplement everything. I try to do most everything I can from food, and you're really not going to be able to supplement fiber. I know that there's fiber supplements. I would not use them because the data is showing that the fiber from each fruit and vegetable is actually different. It's quite miraculous, actually. Like I said, this is going to be new stuff coming out that most of the health industry doesn't really understand. They always want to sell you some type of pill or product, and that's not what I have found works according to the data. Now, if there was some magical pill that could give you all these magical fibers, that'd be great, and I would tell you about it. But it just isn't the case. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and run downstairs while this thing is filling up, which means I'm going to have to be very quick. Otherwise, that thing's going to overflow. Okay, what am I looking for? We need to get, well, we're going to check to see if we got some beets. And I'm also going to see if we got some natto down here. I got like 3 flights of stairs here. Oh, yes. Grab this guy. Yay, I do have some. Oh, I was missing some of this too. Oh, no. Can't do this with one hand. I feel like I'm not going to make it back in time. That's going to be a disaster. Yep. All right. The good news is we have some groceries. I know I need to go grocery shopping today. On top of all this, well, it's a good morning workout. Going up and down stairs. Always look at the bright side of life. And look at that. Okay, so we're going to have some magic ingredients today, this being one of them. Food-based natto. A lot of good stuff in this thing. We'll go over that in a second. We're going to go over every ingredient, but basically, I make this every morning. I mean, this is my morning breakfast, but it's also my multivitamin. It's also my sustenance. It's also my fiber. This whole thing got started because of a study I read in Japan, actually, where basically they found out that the best thing to consume in the morning after hydrogen water is basically, and of course, super clean water, super clean hydrogen water, but is vegetables. And I was thinking to myself, well, how in the world am I going to consume vegetables in the morning? Because there's no way I'm going to eat a salad. Come on. I don't think I'm going to eat a salad for breakfast. At least that's me. And so what I decided to do was try to create a smoothie with a lot of vegetables is what I tried to do. And then lo and behold, I kept reading more data about the fiber, and then I read more data about the nutrients. So basically, I created this whole concoction, and I didn't really think that it would work as good as it does. My goodness, guys, let me tell you something. This has completely surpassed all expectations. I am shocked. See, this is why when I read data and then I apply it and I actually see it work, and I try to find the simplest, most inexpensive way to make it work. And it's very impressive. It really is impressive how good some of these things work. And this is one of them. I really found this to work so good. And I've tried a bunch of things. I've tried different diets. I've tried different healing methods. I've tried a lot of different products too. A lot of times I just threw a lot of money away is what it was, because in my opinion, a lot of products out there, I started realizing, now this is just my opinion, but that there's just a lot of scams out there. And it was so disappointing to see that. And because people are suffering, people need to know what works. Excuse me. And this is the reason that I make these videos, to show you guys what finally worked for me. And not just for me, I've seen it work for numerous people at this point. I've been doing this for so long, and it really works. And it's simple. There's nothing particularly complex. What a surprise, right? Clean water is awesome. Now hydrogen, and that's obviously the magical one that most people don't know about. That one is just, it really is next level. I mean, I don't even know what to say about it anymore. It's just it's so miraculous. And to me, I've known about it for so long, but a lot of people haven't. And the things that I've seen disappear, all these conditions that people have, has just been, but I like to combine these things. I have seen people just use clean water and hydrogen and get really good results, but I do believe that when you combine everything, you get the best results. And because I've seen that too. So even with myself. Okay, let's see here. Let's go ahead and get started here. Happy Wednesday, Greg. Thank you. Always look on the bright side of life, from Life of Brian Monty Python. All right, Terry. You got that one. Okay, today's going to be a special day because I'm just going to put a tiny bit of it, though, turmeric. And I'm going to put ginger. I think that should be enough. Gosh, I feel like I'm going to knock this over. This is not going to be good. There we go. Let's make some room. How about a little more ginger? And let's go with that. And yeah, I could rush if you guys want to see the smoothie be done quickly, or I could take my time, which I prefer to do. But I always understand it's a live video and people are like, hurry it up. I want to see how you make this smoothie. I mean, if I don't have the camera on and I just do it on my own, it takes me 20 minutes. If I rush, I can get it done in 18, but 20 minutes is a good rule of thumb. Everything I use is basically organic. Why? Well, guys, too many pesticides. We know what they do to us. Seen the data at this point. And so I do as much organic as possible. I also wash it when you wash it, you try to kind of rub it with your hands. Like when the water, I saw a study that tested numerous ways of getting any residue that might be on fruits or vegetables, and it does make a difference. In fact, it was the second best way of getting the pesticides off. You got about almost 80% of them off just by rubbing them with your hands under the water. But then, of course, I buy organic on top of it. So, Do my best. Can you ever be perfect? It'd probably stress you out to be extremely hard and time consuming because I've tried. It was such a nightmare. And so that's why I thought, you know what, this nobody's gonna be able to do this, is what I thought. So I thought I need to create something that everybody can do and that's more realistic, both financially and as far as time constraints. And this is what I came up with. And like I said, it's been working quite well. And, well, let me answer somebody's question. Somebody asked, they're probably not even in the chat room, but by the way, you guys can ask any questions. This is a good time because this is when I'm doing my normal routine and you guys can ask questions. But somebody was asking about my blood work. And they're like, well, what exactly, are they looking at when they do your blood work? And I've gone to different doctors and clinics that I found that do good blood work because basically what I'm primarily looking for is deficiencies. I mean, they looked at my red blood cells, they look at my white blood cells, they even look at the size of them, the amount of them. They look at all that kind of stuff. But the biggest thing that I'm actually interested in, which most doctors, they just don't, I don't know, they never really want to test for it, and I really don't understand why because the data is so clear as far as the science of these things, which is I always wanted to look for deficiencies. I wanted to make sure that I don't have any deficiencies because to me, and not just to me, I guess there's again scientific evidence. When you have deficiencies, it leads to disease, guys. That's what we've seen in the world of science. So, for example, if you're deficient in vitamin C, you'll get scurvy. If you fix a deficiency, you'll fix the condition. And there's a lot of conditions like that where they've done a lot of animal studies on it where they can literally turn disease off and on like a light switch, just off and on based on deficiencies. Then you look at the humans in the United States, for example, just one example. I know there's other countries, and I think it goes for all of them, probably all over the world, really, because this is so hard to do in some ways. It's not hard, but people don't know how, which is almost everybody is deficient in something. So what do you think is going to happen, right? Everybody's deficient in something. So when I first started my little health journey, sure, I got tested, and sure enough, yes, I have all sorts of deficiencies like most humans do. And I was like, well, how am I going to overcome these deficiencies? But I also wanted to make sure that I got foods like, for example, right here, turmeric, shown to be anti-cancerous. Ginger, shown to be anti-cancerous. I put the purine powders in to overcome deficiencies. Would I want to overcome deficiencies by taking a multivitamin? Well, if that's all you got, then that's all you got. But honestly, I don't prefer that method. Why don't I prefer that method? Well, because numerous things in the pills that I don't like, and also because you're going to absorb nutrients better from food. And on top of it, you get way too much stuff at one time when you do something like a pill, and you just end up peeing a lot of it out. So absorption is what it's about. And absorption, what I figured out, took me a long time to figure this out. When you combine the stuff, these are blueberries, by the way, good for your vascular system, also anti-cancerous. And a lot of these ingredients are actually anti-parasitic too, which a lot of people don't know. Parasites are definitely linked to more disease. And so I live a very, what I would call, anti-parasitic lifestyle. That is not enough blueberries. And so you absorb the nutrients better. You absorb them better when combined with fiber, is what I found. I found that out because of the way that when the Japanese did a study where they basically realized that having the vegetables in the morning first literally helped regulate blood glucose all day long. There's so many magic, ooh boy, I think I put too many blueberries. Oh well, too many blueberries today. But you know what? Blueberries are extremely good for you, and it's not like it's going to hurt me. If anything, the more the better. The reason I needed to limit the amount is to have room for everything else I'm going to put in here. And the fiber seems to help regulate not just the blood glucose, it's like a time release. And I'm going to put a little hydrogen water in here or clean water, whatever you have access to if you're trying to do this at home. And the fiber not only helps regulate blood glucose all day long if you consume it first thing in the morning and from a vegetable from the study, which shocked the people doing the study because that's not what they expected. Certainly not what I would have expected either. And And so then I also kind of noticed the same thing with absorbing nutrients. When you combine it with fiber, okay, this is probably one of the healthiest foods on planet Earth. It's called natto. Japanese food, they have plenty of studies on this. Again, anti-cancerous. Again, oh, a lot of these foods I'm going to end up saying anti-cancerous, because the majority of these foods are either anti-cancerous or anti-parasitic. Now, this is where you get your minerals. Another reason to consume a lot of fiber, because you don't really get that good of mineral absorption unless it's paired with fiber. And it's funny because I was doing this, but I hadn't even read the study yet. I found a study where they were adding the fiber to the minerals, or the minerals to the fiber for fruits and vegetables, because we know fruits and vegetables are deficient in a lot of things, and that includes minerals. And when I combine them, what in the study showed, and this is what I've been doing myself, it showed that the people's bones were rebuilding. They weren't expecting that at all. That wasn't the purpose of it. Now, natto, I'm going to stir it to activate it. Yes, you have to stir it to activate if you want the most out of it, according to the research. And when you stir it, it begins to activate the live bacteria in here. Natto has, first of all, some guy was asking, like, how do I gain weight? Well, you want a lot of nutrients. I would focus more on nutrients than weight per se. It's all about getting your nutrients, but there is a massive amount of protein in natto. It's kind of ridiculous how much protein is in here. In fact, there's so much of it. They literally advise people to limit the amount of natto that you eat. You cannot eat, well, you shouldn't eat more than 4 of these little packs that I have here. I'm only going to be putting 1 in here today. It also has nattokinase, depending on how you want to pronounce it, which is an enzyme. All sorts of health benefits, which I won't talk about sometimes, because we don't have free speech, and we don't need to be talking about certain things. And if you guys do, unfortunately, I'll have to either delete this video or just block the person making the comment, unfortunately, just because, well, we don't have free speech, but whatever. But it also is rich in vitamin K, and it's also like a natural statin. It thins your blood out just a little bit, which is a good thing, because when you combine it with the hydrogen opens up these, what they call ghost veins or ghost vessels, and then you combine it with the natto, and you really get that blood in there with all these nutrients, guys. It is magical healing all the way. I mean, it's so simple, but check it out. Now it's all foamy. That's the way it's supposed to be. And I'm going to add this to my smoothie for all the nutrients and the enzymes. Yes, the protein, but vitamin K also, which is going to help with our absorption of vitamin D, which is going to be important because vitamin D is one of the most difficult nutrients to get. That is literally so hard to get, almost impossible from food. And the foods that do have it are foods that I really won't eat anymore because of the studies coming out of UCLA of what's in a lot of the seafood. It's crazy. Absolutely nuts. I've even known people who started eating seafood trying to be healthy, and their blood work showed high content of metals. A lot of heavy metals. It's terrible. Okay, let's see what we got here. I have a little leftover beets. I don't like to really waste anything. This is Japanese mustard. I'm going to go ahead and save that for later. The other little packet that was in there, I threw it away. I forgot to mention they put the sugar and garbage in that. I just wanted the raw material, which was the natto. That's all I put in there. Again, if you've noticed so far, all these ingredients are just food and no added stuff. So the blueberries, you look at the package, it just says blueberries. There's no high corn fructose corn syrup added. Things like this. This is beets. I mean, again, just really simple stuff. A lot of vegetables. A lot of us just don't consume enough vegetables. And data clearly shows it's extremely important. Some of those most medicinal stuff, basically, on planet Earth, I mean, there really are plants. And vegetables are no different. Probably the only concern is people sometimes get concerned about oxalates. Well, if you're not deficient, for example, in calcium, the way that can help some of the potential negative effects, and you'd have to consume a lot to really get issues with oxalates, but hydrogen has had some studies showing that it appears to protect you from oxalates. So that's one of the reasons I'm going to show you guys how I use the hydrogen for the smoothies, which we're already soaking the food in hydrogen water. but we're going to do more than that. And I will show you some of those secrets here in a second because it's what I do. It's just my morning routine. I'm not showing anything spectacular. I'm not trying to like stage anything. People who stage these videos, this is just me every morning doing what I normally do. Not a big deal. I would do it with the camera off. Well, that's what I did for years, and then people started requesting, "Hey, can you maybe turn on the camera and we can see how you do your morning routine?" Because I'd like to learn, and I was like, "Okay, sure." So that's what I've been doing lately, guys, and I'm trying to point the camera at all this stuff so you guys can see what I'm actually doing. And I saved all these, and it looks like most of the leaves are no good, but the stems are good. I'll use the stems. Believe it or not, there's health benefits to that too, especially rich colors. And it's funny, in old Japanese culture, they always say you should eat with the seasons and eat with the colors, like the colors of the rainbow. So that's kind of interesting. Old school Japanese. The monks are really into that. A lot of wisdom over in Japan. I mean, you can see clearly by how long they live, but there's a lot of stuff. I've spent time there, and I'm planning on doing more videos in the future talking about the culture, showing good things. I guess I could show the bad too, but I was going to show the good things that we can all utilize that knowledge in different ways and to apply it in our lives. And that's kind of some of the stuff that I've done just even in my life. So there we go. And I used up whatever I had left there. Now, let's go with the next ingredient. I'm actually going to have to make hydrogen chia seeds in front of you guys here because I am running low. All right. I do love my beets. They cause the body, they do, I mean, they have a lot of health benefits, but they do cause the body, I have to move this, to produce nitric oxide. There's a lot of health benefits to that too. In fact, there's even a study that shows that when you combine nitric oxide with hydrogen, oh, the health benefits are just through the roof. I mean, there's a reason I tried to make this protocol as simple as possible. It's actually more complicated to try to explain to you the health benefits of every single fruit and vegetable, nut, seed, whatever. It's probably even more complicated to explain all the health benefits of hydrogen. But I'll tell you something, when you do nitric oxide, not nitrous oxide, nitric oxide with hydrogen, man, you're just taking things to a whole other level. And it's so simple. It's not complex. You don't need a lab. You don't need a bunch of scientists. You can just simply do it just like this. So easy. All right, let's see here. Let's get some beets in here. I like, some people don't like raw beets. I like raw beets. They are very sweet. Taste best in a smoothie, though, I gotta say. I must admit, I'm not a huge fan of cooked beets. I mean, I like them. I'm just not like huge fan. But I know a lot of people like them when they're cooked. And if you like them cooked, go for it. But in my smoothie, I mean, because I don't eat beets every day or something like in my salad or different stuff like that. But in my smoothie, almost every day. Except today, I thought I was going to be out. But look, I happen to have some on my backup. Had them in a drawer in the other fridge, so I got lucky. Okay, scissors. I could probably make them work on that, but I'm gonna go ahead and just use a knife. That's not a knife. Actually, it's a real special knife that I'm using here. It is a Japanese knife, and Japanese are really into their blades, obviously, samurai swords, and into their cooking knives. This thing was a little silly expensive because the quality of it was extremely high. I screwed up and chipped a little piece of it because I was trying to cut something I shouldn't have with it one time. This thing is supposed to be finesse. It's not supposed to be a machete. But yes, it's a good knife. Probably last you the rest of your life. In fact, that's what in Japan, a lot of sushi chefs pass down the knife is generational. Pretty amazing, really. Okay, let's see if you guys have questions while I'm doing this. I didn't even check. Happy Wednesday. Okay, did you know that they added turmeric into French mustard to make it bright yellow? See, that's smarter. What did you get? Where did you get those sticky stuff? Well, I'm assuming you're talking about the natto. Let's see, what do I got to do here? I want to add. I got it from. You can look at. I got it from a Japanese store, well, a Japanese grocery store. But you can also get them from sometimes Korean grocery stores, sometimes even Chinese grocery stores, but not as often. I do make sure that they're made in Japan, or anywhere other than China, but I don't think China is really into making natto anyway, so shouldn't find it too often like that. Okay, I know I'm missing something. Oh yes, now I remember. All right, so here's another magical part. More anti-cancerous ingredients, and some of these are even libido-boosting ingredients. And that is sun-dried raisins soaked in hydrogen water, which is going to enhance them big time, by the way. And notice that everything has water content and fiber. That is one of the secrets to a healthy GI and to good health. And even to somebody was asking about overcoming chronic fatigue syndrome. Believe it or not, this is part of it. In fact, that person, I won't name names or anything, but they were or are apparently a health practitioner, and they needed some help. I get a lot of health practitioners and doctors contact me, which is, dare I say, a little funny, because I don't consider myself to be either, but I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I have noticed that I've had more success with my protocols for people getting better, because I've had a lot of people who have spent, like there was with this one lady who spent about about $180,000 in medical bills and naturopaths and health gurus and all this stuff, and that woman had not really gotten much benefit for her chronic fatigue syndrome. That was somebody else. She did my protocol and said it changed her life. She couldn't believe how easy it was, and I'm soaking more hydrogen raisins for tomorrow. So immediately, the moment I use them, I'm going to make some for tomorrow. You should see the data on hydrogen water and how these things absorb. So these are walnuts, again, anti-cancerous. You should see the studies on them. They've done studies. This one, I'm going to dump the water, but I am going to keep the walnuts. And the walnuts have now absorbed all this water because they were dried nuts, obviously, before. So this is so much easier for the body to assimilate massive amounts of protein. People are always questioning me about protein. Oh my gosh, I'm getting ridiculous amounts from the natto, all the nuts and seeds that I eat. Not to mention, people don't realize, apparently, you have to always read labels, that there's actually a lot of protein in different fruits and vegetables. And of course, absorption is key, and I am definitely absorbing a lot of my nutrients really well. That's one of the reasons I get the blood work too, to make sure that I'm getting proper absorption and that I'm not going to have any nutritional deficiencies. Okay, next one. This is one of my favorites also. I get a lot of favorites because all these are important. And this one is celery. These are very important to have organic, depending on what you're eating. But honestly, all of it's really important. I mean, the stuff that's less important, but I still would do it based on a lot of the data, is stuff like bananas. Is that going to be as important as celery? No, probably not. However, I'm going to go organic right now, as much as I possibly can. Too much craziness in the world. And just because it's organic doesn't mean it's all perfect, by the way. So all you're doing is trying to do your best to minimize any harmful stuff. That's actually the other reason I use hydrogen. I don't know if you guys have known, you can read some of the studies, how protective it is. I mean, you can literally take a drug, for example, there's a drug called cisplatin. The cisplatin is it's a cancer drug. It's extremely toxic to the kidneys. It basically destroys your kidneys. It's one of the reasons that doctors oftentimes don't prescribe it, because it just destroys your kidneys. And then you end up with a kidney transplant too, on top of the cancer. However, and this is impressive. I mean, I want you guys to understand how impressive this is, because people don't understand sometimes how impressive hydrogen is. There's a reason that I use it on the regular. So hydrogen was used. So they did this study. I believe this one was done on animals though. But what they did is they gave the animals cisplatin, and sure enough, just boom, destroyed the kidneys. That was that. Poor little guy, right? Well, then what they would do is they would give hydrogen and give cisplatin. Protected the kidneys. Protected them so much that, yeah, it appears that you could totally walk away with your original kidneys by using something like that. So think about it. If hydrogen's that protective against something so utterly toxic, how protective do you think it'll be for a little bit of pesticides in my food or oxalates or something like this? That'd be nothing compared to the cisplatin. And that's just one of many examples. I watched my video number 8. You can see cells being exposed to like radiation, chemotherapy, stuff like that, with and without hydrogen. And if I were to just tell you the results, you got 90% cellular damage without the hydrogen. It was really bad. I mean, when I say 90%, think about that. Think about like a car that's all 90% rusted. I mean, it just completely oxidized. I mean, it was bad. Then they would use hydrogen, and then you'd get about 10%. 10% you can walk away from. You know, you're going to be all right. 90%, that's going to be a little tougher, guys. The power of hydrogen. It's the reason that I use it. Well, it saved my life too. Just, it did do that. Okay, let's see. Ski Coacher says, this past week I started adding natto to my smoothies. They seem even more creamy with the natto. Yes, I love the creamy flavor. So does the walnuts. Really makes it creamy and tasty. And you need a little, well, I mean, you don't need it, but if you put a little bit of fat, so you have a little natural fat from the natto, you have a little bit of natural fat from the walnuts. There's a lot of actually little fats here and there in this smoothie. Now, the reason that's important is because that also helps with the absorption of nutrients. Again, the key is to absorb these nutrients. But the other key to all this is just seems maybe almost silly and empty. And I've even seen practitioners speak out against it. And I'm just like, want to say, well, do your thing. I know these health practitioners. I've seen them. I've met them. I've had them ask me for advice after they see my blood work. It's always hilarious because that's always when they want. Okay, I'm not sure this is going to work today, unfortunately. We're about to find out. Let's see here. Carrots are extremely good for you. I will say, I just discovered your channel and subscribed. Hey, cool. Nice to meet you, Fix2, or Fixin2. Hope you enjoy the information. So carrots are extremely good for you. And the good news is, they're extremely cheap. I did a whole video where we went over all the ingredients and all the health benefits of every single ingredient before. I guess you guys could always check that out if you wanted to. But I can tell you that they're really cheap. I can get a 5-pound bag of organic carrots for I think like $5.99 or something. It's so cheap. It's one of the cheapest ingredients in here. And I know the carrots are extremely powerful and they actually have a very high level of antioxidants. A lot of people don't know that in research it's shown that organic food has much higher levels of antioxidants. Not a little, it's a lot. And I was pretty surprised how much. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to make some hydrogen chia seeds, guys, right in front of you because, well, it appears I need them. This is all I got left. And so I'm going to show you a little secret today if you're interested. Because hydrogen chia seeds, again, chia seeds full of minerals. Again, notice that all these foods are rich in minerals, all of them. And that's part of the other reason that we do all this. This is like a I don't know what to call this thing. You guys are going to have to help me out with a name. I don't know what this is called. I don't know if it's not a multivitamin, multi-nutrient smoothie. I don't know what to call it. So maybe you guys help me out with the name. Because I can't figure, the smoothie does so many things, it's ridiculous. I can't begin to talk about all the things, but that's the way fruits and vegetables are. They're filled with so many multi-nutrient things. But let's see here. What can we do? We're going to make some hydrogen chia seeds. Do we have enough hydrogen water? Yes, good. And if not, you can also just use clean water. You know, the only reason I use the hydrogen is because some of the studies are showing that the hydrogen actually absorbs into the food and enhances it. I believe that the food was designed to have hydrogen. It actually does have hydrogen in it, just not as much as that it could or should. And so that's kind of interesting. Let me see if I can find, oh my gosh, I guess I gotta buy chia seeds too. I'm running low. Here's just one example: iron, fiber, omegas, calcium. So again, more protein. There's like almost everything I'm consuming. This smoothie has so much protein, it's kind of ridiculous. It really is. And you have to learn how to do this, especially if you're going to try to be a healthy, whether you eat meat or not, but especially for vegetarians, you really need to figure out how to get your proper nutrients. Some people focus too much on protein. You should look at the data. Ironically, the people that live the longest are the ones who consume less protein. But not that you don't need it. It's just life is all about balance. And sometimes America overdoes it. The overconsumption of meat, eggs, dairy, it's just too much, especially on the kidneys. I've known people, even my own family members, who've had kidney issues and were going to get on dialysis, and I put them on my protocol, save their kidneys. When the doctor told them it was impossible, they're like, nope, it's impossible to save these kidneys. And sure enough, we did it. And their jaw dropped, and then they just said, okay, well, keep doing what you're doing. That's all they said. Okay, so now we're going to shake them up here a little bit. And when they start settling, you have to shake them again, otherwise they get all clumped up. So there's some hydrogen chia seeds. They will be ready, not even by tomorrow, they'll be ready today. Probably just a little bit, actually. But you'll notice, see how they start clumping down at the bottom? See up here, it's getting lighter. You have to shake it periodically. And they will absorb all this water. Again, you want this, to come into your body and bring water to the GI system. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some magic ingredients. And when I say magic, we already have a lot of magic ingredients in this thing, but what I'm going to show you now is something that I've never seen anybody else do. Everything that I'm doing, I don't think I've seen anybody do this. I literally invented this method. But here comes some of the magic. You guys ready? What's the magic ingredient? What could it possibly be, Mr. Hydrogen Man? Well, believe it or not, I'm not into salt, but I am into minerals. Minerals are extremely important. They eliminate almost all the salt out of here, very small amounts. Just because of data, we know what salt does. It's not a mystery anymore. It's not really good for you. Hence the reason they put sugar and salt in everything. But when I do use salt, yeah, I'll use like Himalayan salt. I'll use a good salt, but they're still not super high in minerals. I put the minerals in with the fiber. This is what I'm doing. It makes it magical. Here we go. Let's blend this up. It's going to be really noisy. You guys have to be a little patient. And I'm going to dump the compost while I'm blending it. Now, let's see if the blender is actually going to break or if it's actually going to blend with all that stuff, guys. This is crazy. So let's do this. That thing is a powerhouse. Compost. All right, we'll dump that while the blender's chewing up our food for us. That's the other thing. We don't chew enough. We don't chew well enough. And that's why this smoothie is so nice. It's so easy on the GI system. Help with chronic fatigue syndrome big time. All right. Periodically, I'll stop it. I'll let everything kind of drop to the bottom because sometimes stuff gets chewed up more at the bottom. And then I'm going to take these jars and I'm going to put a little bit of hydrogen water in here. So let me go grab some of that and we'll start this up again. There we go. Okay. I'll get a little hydrogen water and then I'll sit down and drink my smoothie and answer your guys' questions. I got a few more magic ingredients that we're going to add to this thing to just make it the powerhouse that it is. Powerhouse. Now it won't soak to the bottom. Now it's soaking up. They're all good now. So these chia seeds will be good for tomorrow. I don't know. I guess I could add more to it, but I'm good. Okay, so I'm going to let it settle one more time. We're going to grab the last magic ingredients. Again, no pills here, guys. Everything's a liquid or a powder. Super cool. Okay. Sounds good to me. Let's just see how chunky. Sometimes when big chunks come out, I got to put it back in there. But I cut it with a little hydrogen water. As you know, I already drank my hydrogen water. That's part of the protocol. And now we're going to get all our multi-nutrients from food. And it tastes great. And it absorbs better. And oh my gosh, if you have any gut issues, holy smokes, this stuff, I've known people with IBS, constipation, hydrogen water, and this will solve it. I knew people who have been told by their doctors they needed surgeries for that silliness, and this totally fixed it. No medical claims though, by the way, and I'm not making any, giving you any medical advice, but this is one of the most important ones right here. D3 with K2. So crucial. And by the way, the best form, ionic. It's actually the second best form. The number one is always food, but second is ionic. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put about 6 drops. That's about 6,000 IUs, 5 to 6,000 IUs, sometimes 10,000 IUs. It just depends on what I feel I need for the day. This is a magical one. This one you don't need to use. It is good for your muscles, brain, bones, ligaments. And the one that really seems to interest people on this one is good for sex hormones. This is one that I did a little investigation on, trying it on different people who are experimenting for libido. This is boron, ionic, and it really has worked great. The combination of this with proper hydration, getting the blood moving with the hydrogen, and the way that obviously hydrogen affects free radicals, but using this together with it, it has worked way better than I expected. Way better than I expected. So that's that one. This one was just a gift, and I've grown to really like it. If I could use it forever, I will. If not, well, is it completely necessary? No, but that's chlorophyll. A lot of health benefits, obviously, from chlorophyll. You get your chlorophyll from your greens. Most people don't eat enough greens, but I have really liked this. I've really grown to like earthy flavors, like the beets are very earthy, and the chlorophyll is very vegetable-y. Like I've really grown to like those. Now it's combined with all the nutrients. I mean, this is everything in food form, guys. Now I got 2 more magic ingredients, and then I can actually enjoy this sucker. I'm just surprised. You know, I don't even, to be honest, I don't know how I came up with this. I don't know what I did to have come up with this protocols, and yet I also can't believe how good they work. I still can't believe it. It's really hard to because I feel like I was brainwashed. I feel like only a doctor can tell you how to get your health back. But I know so many doctors. I worked in the field for, I don't know, 2 decades or more. And I have a lot of friends that are physicians, and honestly, almost all of them are very unhealthy. And they don't really know they don't understand this stuff. I mean, like I said, I'm totally up for it. Maybe one of these days, somebody will actually take on the challenge, because a lot of people out there, even people who claim to be, health gurus or whatever, and that's fine, but I would put my blood up against anybody's, like blood work. Let's do some blood work. Let's see what your deficiencies look like. Let's see what you're eating. Because a lot of people give me heartache about the way that I eat. And it's like, but why would I change if everything's working so good? So hemp hearts, yes, cannabis, well, hemp. Again, look at ingredients, just hemp seed. That's it. And this in itself looks like a multivitamin, multi-nutrient. It's crazy the nutrition in these hemp hearts. And again, more protein. They're actually the most well-balanced proteins known to man. Omega-3s, omega-6s, these are absolutely crazy magical. And guess what? They taste good too. So kind of able to do a little bit of everything here. And then the very last magical ingredient that in my opinion is going to help me absorb all this really, really well. But also, if there's any issues with oxalates in here, it's going to help with that too, even though I already drank a tons of hydrogen water. And I'm going to show you the last little secret that I invented. And again, it's been working way better than I could have ever anticipated. And that is, what's the last magical ingredient? I'm going to take out my earpiece too. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Last magical ingredient is hydrogen. Hydrogen is, we are so deficient in it, and it's literally the source of all human life. That's what I've come to learn. And it just enhances everything. Food, human body. It's kind of crazy what it does. It's kind of like oxygen, except even better. Because in deep sea diving, they use almost entirely hydrogen and helium, but helium is another form of hydrogen, and almost no oxygen, actually. Oxygen is too toxic, believe it or not. Okay, so let's try this out. That's good.
That is very delicious. The only thing I would say is that maybe I could throw an extra banana in there. Okay, let's see here. Let's answer your questions, okay, guys? If you can hear me, let's see. Okay, Fixin' 2, I just discovered your channel. Sunji, how about Mighty Encompassing Smoothie? It's a good idea. I want it to be something that expresses the amount of how it helps absorb nutrients, regulate blood glucose, get all your minerals, get all your vitamins, all food form, plus not just nutrition, but even tasty. And it's hard to put that into 1 or 2 words. Mighty Encompassing Smoothie. That's pretty good though. Okay, Mary Claire says, greetings from Baton Rouge. Sunji, everything smoothie. There you go. Almighty smoothie, almighty. Keller says, hello everyone, just tuning in. Everything you need smoothie. Oh, everything you need, there you go, I like that one. It's good though. I certainly can't complain. This is a good day when you get a good breakfast. After the cleanest water filled with hydrogen. Gotta be grateful for those things, huh? Okay, let's keep going. Let's see here. Helen says, hello everyone. I'm enjoying my lunch, which is Greg's super smoothie. Super smoothie. So happy I took the 10-day smoothie challenge last month. I'm hooked for life. Yep, it's awesome, isn't it? Okay. Jazz banana. Definitely on it for life. Only thing is I miss chewing things. That's why I do the hemp hearts too. It activates the chewing. Which you can also, you'll choose something later on for dinner. Okay, Fixin' 2 says, can you post a link to your water system? I don't know how to post links. I don't know. Let's see here. You go to, what you do is, it's really easy. You just go to the website. It's mypurewater.com. Let me see if I can. They're usually in all my videos. Okay, let's see here. I would say www.mypurewater.com. Discount code if you guys want it. Uprising 144. There. Is that good? Okay. All right, let's see here. That's good. Okay. Dramer says 420 hemp. 420. Not smoking it though, I'm eating it. How about the Holy Hydrogen Smoothie? Holy Hydrogen Smoothie. Yeah, that is a good name. Actually, but that wouldn't really express everything. Dramer says, I'm Team Carbon. I have no idea what that means. Helen says, hi, Terry. I'm doing good now. Was battling bronchitis for a few weeks. Hope all is well with you too. The holistic smoothie. Oh, I like almighty smoothie. Almighty. That's a bit much. Most of us can't do all that. Really? And Fixing 2 says, awesome. Thank you very much. Really? That's a bit much. It only takes 20 minutes every morning to transform your life and your health. Okay. Internet Explorer says, good morning, Hydrogen Man. Well, good morning to you too. Okay. Well, that is the hydrogen smoothie for you. Apparently, people think it's too much. You know, somebody else comment. Do you agree with that? Do you think this is too difficult? This is why I do it for you guys right in front of you. You can see how I do it. I'm not prepping. I don't have some counter with everything made and just throw it in and make it in 5 seconds, you know. I'm showing you in real time just how I do my morning routine every day. I mean, I've been doing this for years. Let's see, did you listen to Hydrogen C, the YouTube music? Only a little bit. I've been honestly too busy. I haven't had a chance to listen to all of it. But I did a little bit. My Everything Smoothie. Oh yeah, what was that one name? I mean, these are all really good. But there was one that somebody said, let's see, that I thought, the Everything You Need Smoothie. Yeah, Everything You Need Smoothie. Almighty smoothie, everything smoothie. Everything smoothie is good. Simple. Everything's super smoothie. Fixing to, I believe my health is worth what every time it takes. I would agree with you, except that I've tried that and it turned into like an 8 to 12 hour event every single day. And, you know, it was just too much. This has had to simplify. What is a starting investment? Says Kurt. Well, Kurt, it depends on what you are trying to accomplish, how severe certain medical issues are, because if you have severe things, you got to go all out. But if you were to just get everything that you need, and I'm over guesstimating, I don't like to underestimate and that ends up being a little more, and then you're like, why didn't anybody tell me? But I would say anywhere between $5,000 and $6,000. But a lot of people already have a lot of these items. One, you need a super high quality blender. As you guys noticed what I just did, there's no way you're gonna be able to blend what I just did without a really powerful, high quality blender. Carbon distiller. Make the cleanest water on planet Earth. In fact, it's making it right there. You know, that's how you really clean your water. True cleanliness. But once you get one of these things, see, when you spend the $5,000 to $6,000, you already have all these items. It's not like you have to buy them every year. These are high quality items that last super long time. I've had all mine for years. So let's see, blender, carbon distiller, and the hydrogen generator. The hydrogen generator that I use, again, super reliable, is one of the reasons I got it. But more than that, it's the quality of the hydrogen that it makes. And you can inhale the hydrogen gas, which I'm doing right now while I eat. Also drink the hydrogen water. Super easy to maintain, lasts a super long time also. And then beyond that is just like the purine powders. So everything's nutrition after that. You spend your money on nutrients and stuff like that. I'll tell you, at least it's not like 70 grand, or at least it's not something that you have to buy every single month, like all these pills and stuff, which I'm not very fond of anyway. I don't know if that answers your question. If it doesn't, let me know. But that's a good question. Ski Couture says, it's not difficult if you really want to do it. You'll never get more out of your health than you're willing to put in. That's also semi-true. But yeah, good point. Terry C says, what's difficult is not having your health. Taking half hour to make a smoothie is a not much to ask. What's difficult is not having your health. Taking half an hour to make a smoothie it's not much to ask. I don't think it's much to ask. Okay, Fixin' 2 says, does require a little bit of discipline. Just a little bit. Fixin' 2 says, as answer to your earlier comment about the 20 minutes being too much time. Okay. Dramer says, I need a distiller. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to live without mine. Internet Explorer says, biggest investment is getting clean water. Thanks to Greg, I got a carbon distiller and hydrogen machine. Yeah, the clean water and the hydrogen is actually, I mean, literally, I hate to even say this, but that guy who was asking, if you just had the clean water and the hydrogen, I've seen some pretty amazing things. My own father, he didn't want to do any of this stuff. So all he did was do the clean water and hydrogen, and his blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, glaucoma, and arthritis is all gone. just with the hydrogen and clean water. But once he started drinking the smoothies, he's really fallen in love with them though. Sanji says, life-changing smoothie. I like that. Pretty good. I like that, Sonja. It is life-changing. You know what? It's just so weird, but it is. And I'm surprised that after all these years, nobody's ever made anything like this. I don't know why I'm surprised, but I am. If you're super rich, I could just make them for you. Like one of these days, I'm gonna get like some super rich celebrity and be like, hey, can you just move it into my guest home and just make these for me? And make me my dinners and make me everything else. But I don't even know if I would. Let's see, Dramer. So I can just use filtered water in my Hydrofix for the time being? Yeah, you can. Clean water, clean life. But yeah, you can use filtered water. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. I'm gonna release a video soon about that. That's not bad. Thanks, says Kurt. Sonji says, thanks, Helen. Sonji says, whole body smoothie. Ooh. Internet Explorer. Do you think the smoothies lose quality if you pre-cut the vegetables days before? Maybe a little bit. Because when you cut them, you start losing certain properties, even hydrogen that would be in the smoothie, believe it or not. It's kind of wild. Okay. Let's see here. Boy, we can go over a lot of things, can't we? Let's see. What info do you guys want? Let's see here. Wow. Okay. Trying to look at the comments here. Okay. I'm gonna go get some more smoothie. That's pretty much the end of the video unless you guys have questions. I'm gonna keep inhaling my hydrogen while having more smoothie, but if you have questions, I'll answer them. Inhale some more of this in the morning. This is a great morning routine, though, I gotta say. It really gets me going. Oh boy, I guess I'll have to go pretty soon. Okay, guys. You can make the smoothies. I can show you how to seal them. In fact, I'm gonna be drinking all this right now, but I'm really tempted. I'm tempted to drink all of it, but I also have this for lunch, so I should probably save some. Okay, gosh dang it, I'm gonna have to save some. Let me show you guys how I do it, because if you seal them right, you can make these smoothies last even more than 3 days. So, let me show you how I don't like to waste anything. So what I do, scrape everything. Why don't I want to waste it? Well, first of all, it's to honor the farmers that went out of their way to grow organic food. That's the first thing. I don't want to waste anything that they grew. Why would I waste it? It's like a slap in the face to the growers, to nature that really puts this out for us. So show my gratitude here by not wasting anything, or at least I'm trying to. So I'm gonna, and then all the ingredients that I put in here, especially those purine powders, you know, those, a lot of effort go into making all these things. Even though I pay for them. Just because you pay for something doesn't mean that you can just disrespect it. Like, oh, well, I paid for it, I can do whatever I want. Yeah, you can, but this is what I do. I'm trying to show even myself some level of respect, because you have to work for what you make, and if you waste things that you worked hard for, you're wasting your own life in a lot of ways too. So this is all goes full circle. And so I'm gonna scrape as much as I can. And I think I'm out of the hydrogen water. I used it all up this morning. So I'm gonna use just a little clean water at the very end of scraping all this. I've tried using water first, but it doesn't work as good. I have to scrape it with the spatula. Somebody might say, this is too much work. Isn't there something I can just pop in the microwave and take a pill? Well, unfortunately there isn't, but at least the good news is at least we have this. Because if you didn't have these type of options, you would be in trouble. Okay, well now let's seal this. I'm gonna show you guys how to seal it. All right. Yeah, you're not witnessing anything out of the ordinary. Nothing staged, nothing weird. All right, let's turn this camera around here and you can maybe see if you can see how I seal this. I'm gonna show you guys how I do this. Okay, so what I do, oh, shnikes. Give me a second. Okay. So I'm gonna put this seal thing on here. Take this guy, put it on here, lock that down, hit back. Sucking all the air out of it. That's it. This one works way better than my old one did, but it was more expensive. This thing is on here tight. Sucked all the air out of it. And I didn't even look, but a lot of times the smoothie starts going upwards because it's sucking all the air out of it. This thing will stay good for at least 3 days. Super fresh, guys, super fresh. Okay, well with that being said, hopefully that answers everybody's questions. In fact, I'm gonna say goodbye, but let's see here. Well, actually, I'll answer some of your questions. Just hold on one second, because I see that you guys are commenting, so I'll be right back. Give me one moment, I'm gonna make something real quick while I answer some of your questions. Oh boy, I went to grind it up. Okay. Raw honey. Take a second, yes. Grind organic coffee. There we go. There we go. Now, while that's going, I'll inhale a little more hydrogen and answer some of your questions here. Okay, let's see here. What are you guys asking here? Do you think smoothies lose? Oh yeah, okay. Lacey. Internet Explorer. I.e. seen people scrape the cake off plates. Oh, maybe I could lick my blender, but your smoothies must be so good. You know, they really are. The only thing that I maybe, just to make it like, if I really wanted it to just, I could have added one more banana, but it was fine. I was very happy with it. But for people who are new to it, they might need that. Helen says, does smoothie taste so much better than anything you can pop in the microwave? It's worth the effort. It does taste better, and it feels better. See, that's the other thing. I don't know if you guys, comment if you've ever experienced this, because it's funny the difference between what your brain wants, you know, your mind versus your body. So you're like, no, I really want, you know, pancakes with syrup or whatever, and you eat it, and yeah, it tastes great. It's not like I don't like that stuff. I love pancakes with butter and whatever. But then after I eat it, it's like I feel heavy, groggy, even kind of tired. Like I don't feel super good. And same thing goes for like eating a cheeseburger or something deep fried, like deep fried chicken or deep fried whatever. And it just doesn't feel, you know, super good on the body, even though your mind wanted it. And then you like kind of regret it. Kind of like maybe drinking alcohol. And the smoothie, yeah, it tastes great, but man, the body, like when I'm done, when I drink the hydrogen water and then I do this, my body loves it. And then you just get so used to feeling so good, and that's part of happiness, and it's part of just feeling good and being productive, you know? Feels great. Let's see here. This will be interesting. Give me 1 second. I need to soak some walnuts for tomorrow too. Okay, I'm gonna soak some walnuts. Those you do have to do the night before, just like the raisins, it really works better. I have a little bit. And if you don't have hydrogen water, because I think I use it all for the smoothie, you can always just do clean water. No big deal. Okay. There you go. Okay. I also make, not all the time, but sometimes I make some healthy coffee. Has to be organic. Coffee is one of the most heavily sprayed crops in existence. And you're definitely gonna wanna do organic because otherwise you're literally kind of drinking a cup of chemicals. And I grind the beans myself, better flavor, real nice. And I've already had my smoothie, my hydrogen water, my minerals. So it's okay to do that once in a while, in my opinion. Helen says, I agree. I may crave food, but I think about it, about what I'll feel like later. Yes, I do the same thing. And that thought usually keeps me on track. There you go. Good point, Helen. Helen, you are, I gotta say, I think Helen's one of the most on point people that I've seen on these live chats. I love key lime pie, but it makes me feel jittery afterwards. Too much sugar. Oh my gosh, way too much sugar. And then the other thing I like to use, everything has to be food. And as far as for sugar, raw, honey, organic, unfiltered, unpasteurized, just the real stuff I got a connection for that if you guys ever want to know. Well, I've done videos on it. I've done videos where I get it, you know, where I get mine. So yes. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see here. Somebody's asking, where do I get the hydrogen machine? Holy Hydrogen, if you want a discount code, it's Uprising144K. There you go. And let's see here, promotional. Huh? Confusing comments. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to say goodbye. Any last questions? Let's see here. Bonnie says, I missed the recipe for your smoothie. Oh, just rewind, Bonnie. You can rewind, doesn't have to be live. Sonji says, Helen, try a keto lime pie, less sugar. A keto lime pie. Oh, pretty good today. Would you repeat the recipe? I don't know if you're aware, you can actually rewind the video. It's all digital. You can just literally take your finger and rewind it, and you can watch the whole process. And I have numerous videos. I do this every morning, practically. I'll look into that. Sonji says Helen, and then Bonnie. There you go. Okay, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye now, says Helen. Likewise. Have a good one, guys. Hope you guys found the information helpful. Excuse me. And any last questions before I say goodbye? Time to say goodbye. Have a good one. I will. I got a lot to do today, so I will definitely have a good one now that I'm all charged up and ready to go with all my nutrients. And I'll see you guys next time on the next one. Thanks for supporting the channel. Holy cow, I just realized you guys gave me 34 thumbs up. What? I just realized that right now. Holy smokes. Thank you, guys. Very kind of everybody. And see you guys next time on the next one.